Love his presentation. So Zach, when you're ready, I'm letting you start. Thank you and enjoy.
Thanks, Alex. So I guess a little background here, like Alex mentioned, we took part in the skills certification program a couple summers ago. I work in Barrie out of NTR, National Training Ranks in Barrie. Also pretty heavily involved with the Barrie AAA Junior Colts organization, where we've got a pretty unique development program for teams and all players. But we've moved on a lot of players to major, junior, and junior the last few years. As a result of that program and the people involved within the organization as well. I own Apex Hockey Training, so I run that out of National Training Rinks, just private lessons and group training. You can see there my Instagram and Twitter, where we were able to register for this conference, but we'll move on here. So some of the topics we're going to cover, I know they were posted in that Alex's and myself's Instagram and Twitter, but we're going to look at retrieval deception, so various ways to retrieve pucks to deceive forecheckers, some evasion and escape moves. That'll be with and without, so accepting possession or retrieving the puck. Position before possession, controlling F1's energy. So those are two topics. Controlling the area. One I kind of call it protecting the puck area. The other I would probably classify it as controlling the puck area. I know some other presentations. I think Dean mentioned, I watched his controlling the energy or riding the energy with a Crosley clip. So similar idea, just on the other side of the puck. And then we'll look at some defenseman fakes and different ways to be deceptive in the offensive zone. And then we'll finish off with there's a couple trends in here, but there's one specifically that I kind of came across recently, and the idea of it isn't new. It's been around for a while, but kind of the area of the ice that I've noticed it is seems to be new anyway. I haven't seen it very often. So we'll go on to some retrieval deception. So a couple of key points we want to keep in mind when we're retrieving a puck. One, we want angle. Definitely want to make sure we're checking shoulders. We want to check shoulders to assess our pressure points. So we want to be able to locate F1 and F2 that are closing in on us. Also, we want to be able to assess our options. What's our plan of attack here? How are we going to create a positive play once we retrieve our puck? So we're going to go through kind of our order of operation. Here we'll watch a handful of some NHL clips. We'll work through the ABCs of isolating, learning, teaching, introducing pressure, some small area games that give it a game application feel, and then we'll finish off with a couple more examples of the topic we're talking about. So one thing I want to just bring up, we're in a difficult situation here, so we might be short on a couple clips, but we'll talk about different ways. I know I got a couple clips that kind of jump into B, so we'll make sure I bring up a couple ways that we can regress that to the A or progress it to C from there, so we can check all our boxes and our ABCs prior to introducing it. But our first clip here, we'll kind of stop and go on these. So the first one is a retrieval. Now, not what we're going to bring up here, but I wanted to, it's a good highlight for one, Krug shoulder checks. He doesn't have a lot of time and space. Also, when we watch our forechecker, one thing I'm seeing, forecheckers now, the F1s, their kind of primary point of contact seems to be going off after the defender's stick initially, and not necessarily body first, but stick contact and then body. So this clip here we're about to see with Krug, he allows the puck to bounce off the boards kind of behind the net, so he's already using the bounce off the boards to protect himself. And then, sorry, I'm just trying to find the play here. So,
Zach, wait a second. We lost your presentation. Someone click on present now. So,
are we good?
wait a second. I just want to confirm that it came back. Yeah, it's all right.
Good. So we'll see Krug. He's much smaller. I believe that's Perry that's after them, but we'll see. He uses his legs. He's got good positioning here, and then he also gets himself to, you can catch it, a good wide base. So he's got that puck protected between his base. If you notice here, he's got F1 behind him, and he's got F2 that's about to challenge him. So one pass ends up beating two forwards here. So a good play. That'll come up kind of periodically through some of our clips where the defender creates a 2-on-1 against himself, where he ends up making a play and creating an odd man situation going the other way. So this will be more what we look at and highlight in this section of this topic. So again, Krug retrieves the puck, shoulder check, stick fake, toe turn, and then he releases it to his partner. So we'll go back. We'll play each one a couple times here just so we can highlight a couple things. So there's the shoulder, there's the stick, there's the toes, and then he releases it behind the net to his partner. So also what I like doing here is if we're showing players these clips or we're about to introduce it to them, is watching how that forward reacts to our fakes. It's a good little teaching tool to show kids. So see the pause, and then he's able to release it. Now he's got a little more space, not quite as, he doesn't bite on it quite as much, but there's some other clips that they do. This one here, our Detroit player, this one's pretty common where defenders will stop with their toes turning a certain way and then release the puck the other direction. Typically, I see this one, D-men are kind of facing the corner the opposite way of this player, but in this situation, the D-man really sells. He's going D-to-D with the look, his toes, his body, everything is facing a D-to-D pass here. And we can kind of see in the screen F2 for Boston. And we're going to watch all this Detroit D-man does is backhand pass. Backhand pass, one pass beats two players, and then they're up there. So same thing here, another variation. This is Grizzlick. So we'll see, all he does is a little pause. He shoulder checks, he pauses, he gets Trevor Moore. We'll see if we can stop it on the play here. So there's his shoulder check. He's about to pause. He gets Moore to pause, and then he's able to reaccelerate and kind of dictate the play from there on the breakout. There's the pause. Now he pulls the puck back between his base, and now he can begin to separate. This is the one that we're really going to focus on when we look at teaching and our ABCs here. So this will be of, I believe it's Orlov on Washington. So we'll stop it prior to here if we can. Back it up. So this situation right there, Orlov is recovering a loose puck, shoulder check on the left side there. He sees Matthew. So his toes turn him into pressure. So he's turning as if he's going to go behind his net. That little slight deceptive turn gets Matthews to bite on, I believe it's Matthews, and then that allows Orlov to skate north down the ice and begin to separate with some speed here. So there's the toes, and now Orlov's able to separate. So a couple of things, if we just go back to this for for a minute. Anytime we're doing these deceptive moves or evasions or escapes, it's important we need kind of a chain of events that are going to take place to allow us to separate. And then at the end of it, we definitely need to move our feet. So if our shoulder check's good, we toe turn, we're deceptive. We can't turn and then look to make a pass. We got to turn, look to make a play as well as skate too, because that player is now attempting to recover. So when we start to begin to teach these types of skills here, first we want to isolate what we've done. So we've just done that with our clips. We've kind of isolated, especially with the Orlov one, what we want our D-man to work on. So we've done it. Now we want to make sure that we teach it. So we want to be able to kind of control our learning environment, and we want it to take place in an area of the ice where our defensemen are going to be able to use this as much as possible here, or where they're going to see it. It's not, we definitely want to work on it in that area of the ice, but sometimes if you're sharing the ice or you're a team practice and goalies are one end, forwards the other, we got a clip of Coach Riley here using the middle of the ice. That's okay, but we definitely want to make sure we implement it where they will see it and begin to really teach from there too. And we want to introduce coach pressure, some player pressure, and then kind of recreate a game situation drill or a small area game to get as close as that game feel as possible. So right away is just a clip of me. Here's our toe turn that we talked about with Orlov. We'll see a couple more clips where this is the area of the ice that it happens in with Sandin and Klimberg. So cover our puck. There's our shoulder checks, our toe turn, escape, and then we begin to accelerate. So let's play one more time. Shoulder checks, right, left, double outside edge, and then escape with a couple crossovers up the ice, head up. Here's our player here. So this is kind of where we'd introduce this skill in. Here's our A. Oh, sorry. So there's his toe turn, and then he escapes around the net. So toes, and then around the net. Now, we missed our shoulder check in there, so that might be something that we want to make sure we bring up with our player. So play it again just from the start. So our toe turn. So good job on the toe turn, good job on moving his feet afterwards, but we want to reinforce that shoulder check, and that's something we want to make sure we key in on, because he'll obviously need the shoulder checks when we get into game situations. So good little teaching moment for that guy. Here, again, we're one step closer to a game situation. Coach spots our puck for us. We'll toe turn to the middle, escape up the wall. With an outlet pass back to the line, toe turn to the middle, escape up the boards. Same thing now. We're just kind of, we're at that double outside edge, and we're applying our fake prior to gaining possession of our puck, and then escaping up the wall. So if we move forward here, same thing, same idea, a little bit different drill. All they're doing now is taking some ice or gapping up to the blue line, toe turn, escape up the wall inside out. Puck number 2, toe turn, escape up the wall up the middle. So they're going middle to the boards and then boards to the middle. This player, same thing, retrieves his puck, gets to his blue line, pivots to forwards. Now he's going to apply the same fake. You might want to tighten up that fake a little bit, but he wants to fake wall, skate up the middle of this player. Good little deceptive turn there. Might need a couple shoulder checks, but we get the idea of what we're working on here, and then he's up the wall. Next clip here. So now all we've done is taken our original drill and applying some pressure into it. Now first I would probably, introducing something new, I would myself or encourage other coaches to be the first point of pressure. Then we're still able to teach it as we're moving. We're still able to control the learning environment a little bit better than having two players go, because we still want kids to learn here. We don't want to jump into two players, and it kind of tends to turn into a competition versus teaching and learning. So, but these guys do a good job of staying focused on it. So there's our toe turn, escape up the wall, shakes our forecheck, our F1. There's a spotted puck, toe turn, up the wall. So we want to make sure we shoulder check, we see the pressure, we turn towards him, and then we're going to escape up the wall. There he is, toe turn, sees the pressure, escape up the boards. So, same thing now, we're going to recreate a little more game. Like this is little guys playing this game, but a good game for the big guys too. I should have mentioned, we're kind of, the groups of players we're talking about here is your maybe Bantam, minor Bantam, all the way through major junior players. So this would be a good game to see of our ABCs of teaching this skill here. So you just chuck a puck in, players are going in, need a shoulder check, be deceptive, and then have to escape from it. Now these are just the little guys, not the players that we just saw demonstrating a couple of drills, but we get the idea here. Here's a good little turn, good shoulder check. So we're not quite sure where that box is met with his shoulder. Nice job by that kid, and a good little drill. We get the idea here. Now, so we've just gone through everything with the ABCs. We've taught them. We've applied our pressure, our isolation, and now we're ready to encourage an injury skip. So right away, I believe this is a World Junior clip from a couple of years ago. Here's our toe turn. We shake that F1, and now we are able to separate. I believe it'll play again here on the next one. So it's Klinberg. He does a lot of this type of stuff. Him and Sandy. So there's the toe turn.
Zach, getting some problem with the sound. Can you just try it again?
Yeah. Can you hear me, or?
Oh yeah, it's restarting. Sorry.
Good.
Because we lost your explanation about the player from Dallas.
Okay. Sorry, I'll just move a little bit. Try and move a little closer to the camera or to the mic.
Perfect. Thanks.
So if we watch Krejci, I believe it's Krejci here, how he reacts to the initial toe turn, he bites on, and now we're able to skate and separate from him. And our last clip is Sandine. I put this one on my Instagram here. He does a good job of this one. He really sells it. So there's a shoulder check. Sorry, it started a little bit on us. Start her over. So there's a shoulder check, toe turn, and then a Dallas forechecker really bites it. But a couple things here. There's quite a bit of distance between them right now. So Sandine almost, he invites that pressure to make sure that he can convince that that forechecker that he is going to turn. If he's got too much ice, that forechecker is going to be able to readjust, and there's deceptive move there will have little effect on him. But the closer he gets, he turns into that pressure, forcing that forechecker to adjust his feet, adjust his line, and that's where he really gets him to bite on it. So by inviting that pressure, it really sells the toe turn. So we're moving along to evasions and escapes here. So two points we'll look at is retrieving the puck and evading and escaping, or accepting a puck and evading and escaping. So with our clips, we'll follow the same kind of order of operation here with NHL clips and then teaching, and then finish up with NHL clips. But there's a couple of variations of evasions and escapes here, and then we'll look at them as far as teaching goes. So right away, similar to our first clip with Krug, Grzelcyk is about to retrieve his puck here now. That Montreal player takes a good line to him. He's almost done right here. But Grzelcyk does a good job at creating some space along the wall for himself. It's creating space or controlling the area or creating a pocket. I know there's lots of different terms for it, but he does a good job of creating a buffer. So he creates a pocket of ice for himself, and then he's able to roll, evade, escape, and then make a nice pass to Krejci, who's in a good supporting position there. But we'll play it again. Same thing, creates a little bit of space. There's his evasion, there's his escape, there's his outlet play. And again, following that same theme as a couple of our other clips, one pass beats F1 and F2. So he's identified where the pressure's coming from, and then he's able to evade, escape, one pass beats two players. This will be of a Red Wings defenseman. Well, he's holds it. It's a pretty subtle move there, but the Blues forward really bites on it. We'll watch it a couple of times here. So he retrieves the puck. Slight move like he's going to round the net, and then again, one pass beats two players. He sucks F1 and F2 in. This is Carlo. So again, another retrieval, escape, or evade, escape, and then he's able to make a play. So this one's difficult, and we'll see a clip of Riley, another certified skills coach out of Winnipeg. But escaping to your forehand is difficult. Lots of kids like to cross their arms, and we'll highlight one drill where it kind of works on that, but that's definitely a teaching point we want to key in on when teaching escapes to the forehand, is avoiding crossing your arms, especially with the bantam, the junior, the OHL guys. We want to maximize as much time and space as possible, and crossing our arms to recross them just eats up time. So here's an example of retrieval, evasion, and deception. Oh, sorry. Take off, retrieve our puck, shoulders, there's touch, and evade and escape. Our next one, this is Riley, so he's going to go both ways. He's going to retrieve his puck, or accept it, and then there's his escape, evade and escape. Now he does it on his backhand, evade and escape. So if we check our forehand, well, here you notice he doesn't cross his arms. And then once we get into we'll get into the arm cross in a second here. Similar to some of our clips, all we're doing is kind of spotting our own puck. So here's this is an area of the ice where we're going to see it. We're not exactly up against the boards. These players are doing an okay job at it. We might want to emphasize a little bit more shoulder check. So we'd want to retrieve our puck. Let's make sure we look, and then we want to evade, escape. So making sure we shoulder check both sides. We want to possession check and then escape. And a couple of them get it all right in here. So there's a little check, and then he's got possession with a little S turn or a little escape. Same thing. Now we're just doing the same thing up the middle of the ice. So control our puck. We shoulder check both sides, and then we escape up the ice. So here's another little triangle play. This is not exactly where it's going to apply to us in the ice, but it's a good drill to begin teaching some escapes. So again, we're still on of teaching evasion and escapes with these guys. So once we go here, just a triangle cone pattern. Here's our escape to the backhand, and then we're back up the middle of our triangle. Here's our escape to the forehand, and we're back up the middle of our triangle. There's an arm cross, and then he's out. Same thing with this player. We're up, we pivot. We want to escape to the forehand. There's our arm cross. We want to escape to the backhand and move. So when we're teaching this one, especially, I see it quite often with guys escaping to their forehand side. They want the puck on their blade all the time. And if we can get them to bump the puck and then turn, keep their hands and their upper body and their legs separate, moving independently, it'll help them turn quicker. If these guys want to turn with their puck on their blade all the time, then they want to cross. Their turning radius gets pretty large. But if they're able to bump it, they can separate their movement with their upper and lower body and then turn. It'll tighten up the radius of their turn, and they don't also have to worry about uncrossing their arms and all that stuff. So they'll be able to make a play much quicker. Now we're just accepting. There's our evasion. Here's our escape. We've added in, again, we're into an area of the ice where the supplies. We've got a shot drill to finish it off, but same thing. Evade to the backhand, little pivot, escape, outlet pass, and then shot. So if we decide we want to do this and we want to focus on evasions, escapes, and then we add a shot into it, I wouldn't put too much emphasis right away on what kind of shots these guys are using. We'll look into some deception from the blue line later on where we use this same drill, but if we want to include shots at the end of something, let's make sure we stay firm on whether the theme of our drill or the theme of our practice is, so that we don't want our drill to get too cloudy and then throw too much information at these players. We can progressively introduce new things as soon as they gain a grasp on something. So we'll see this drill again later on in the presentation where I'll give you some ideas on what we can do with this shot. But good drill in the area of the ice that we're talking about. If we play it again here, we're going to be able to see we can add a C part onto this. Once we pass it to that player, that passer can chase him, and that's what we're going to end up seeing again. Not quite yet. So again, just another example of evasion, escape, and then outlet pass. A little bit lower in our own zone, but we get the idea, same thing. We've got an option to add pressure and create a C a little more game-like if we need to. Now this is where our game application comes into play. So we'll receive our puck. We're going to have F1 challenge us, and now we've got all the ice to escape to. Now these guys just pull everybody right to the front of the net. We probably want to stay away from backing right into our goalie in the net, but if we decide to shade to one side of the ice, it's going to create a rather large portion of the ice that we can escape to. So if we want to shade over to the left circle, that's going to create a big pocket of ice for us to accelerate into if we pull off a good evasion move. Same idea, we're just behind the net now. Similar to Grizzlick's play, and I think we'll see another one with McAvoy. Now the puck here is just dictating the play. He's just trying and escape and get out above the tops of the circles. A good little game that we can play with. I'd play something similar to with this on the ice with our major junior guys, where as long as we're following the same theme, whatever we've been working on, whether if we're talking about evasions and escapes, our ABCs follow evasions and escapes, and then our game application and small area games want to echo that same thing where we're still working on evasions, escapes, all the way through the completion of our hour of our theme here. This one again of Klimberg's, very similar to the first clip we saw of in the last topic, but he uses a similar move. He's just got possession of the puck this time. So we see him. Here's his little deceptive move now. Instead of like the other clip, he went boards middle. This time he goes middle boards. He gets blown up there pretty good, but he makes a play out of it. Same thing, retrieves. There's your shoulder checks. And again, we see how the Boston forechecker bit pretty hard on that first toe turn. We can play it one more time if we can find that arrow. There we are. So there's the turn, hard bite on it, and then all that ice we've just awarded ourselves to escape up and do, makes a nice play, takes a hit. Another clip here of, I believe this is McAvoy now, slightly different play, but a little more like Grizzly. He used a little toe turn along the boards to escape and then make a breakout pass. But if we look at, we'll play it, let's see if we can hit pause here. If we can look at, oh, sorry, the wrong way. We are. If we look at how the forechecker reacts to this. So if we've got F3 over there on the far side, he hits the brakes on that when McAvoy executes his little delayed toe turn. So again, good little tool to show the players that the skills that we're executing, but also bring another, I think, degree of trust into our skills coach-player relationship when we can kind of give them multiple points of emphasis and reasons why stuff like this will work, because it is challenging to get players to buy into doing some of this stuff. And again, we're evasion, little evasion move, escape, another escape, DDD play with a whole ton of ice to operate with on the weak side there. One more time, and we'll move on again. So evasion, escape. Here's another escape turn. Nice backhand play. Buys his partner lots of time and space on the far side there. So next here, we'll get into our protecting and controlling the area. So if we're going to protect our puck here, a couple of things we want to make sure we focus on. We want to be able to locate the puck. We want to be able to shoulder check. We need to identify where the pressure is coming from. We're going to have to be physical and establish some body position. I know gaining inside position and cutting hands is used when talking about offensive tactics, but also applies to us defensively too. So I call it gaining inside position here, but we'll see there's multiple ways we can do this. We can do this with our legs, or we can do this physically, and we've got a couple examples of both. So right now, Krug, this ends up being a bit of a 50-50 race for a puck, but we're going to watch Torrey Krug kind of, he gains that inside position on that Toronto forechecker to award himself body position and possession of the puck too. So I can find this arrow. So he gains body position with his legs, and then he's got possession. He can make a play. We'll play it one more time here. So he takes a 50-50 race and then makes it 100% play for himself. There's the body position, gains inside, and makes a play here on the breakout. Same thing, a little bit different. This is with Victor Hedman. Let's see if we can stop it. So right where right here. So Hedman's about to accept this play, this rimmed puck. Now, instead of trying to make a backhand or a forehand pass through that defender's skates and get it through his stick, all he does is protect the area of the puck. So all he does here is just get his hands up on the boards. He braces for contact. He lets that puck just slide right by. He knows he's got center support there swinging low and slow for him. So as soon as that puck slides right by him, he jumps on that puck, that centerman, and then they're able to skate it out of their own. So we'll watch one more time here. And again, same thing. All Hedman does is brace for contact. He kind of creates a safe pocket for that puck to continue to slide by, and his centerman picks it up and continues on. So this might be, this is a good drill. I've used this one before. If we're going to get into teaching players gaining inside position or cutting the hands right away, I would probably introduce it with a coach and not a player on player, just to eliminate some of that competition and make sure that we're still kind of controlling the learning environment. So I would go coach versus player on this one, so that the player can get a feel for gaining inside position, cutting hands, getting a little bit physical with the coach prior to introducing this drill. But a good drill once we move on to be to get players into cutting hands and gaining inside position and body position and protecting the area. So we'll let it play. So red gets inside position, controls the puck. If the coach hits him with a whistle here, and he just chips it in the corner for him, and they get a shot off. Now we're going to watch this next play here, so we'll stop it right here. This is just a replay of their last rep, but we're going to watch the player in red. Similar to Krug, he uses the boards to place this puck in a position where only he's able to get at it. So he doesn't necessarily gain 100% control right off the bat here, but he just bumps the puck so that he can continue to fight for body position, and he places the puck in an area where only he's getting at it. So there's the bump, only he can get at it, and then he's able to regain full possession. Coach hits him with a whistle, and then they finish with a shot too. So good drill for part B of our 3 steps of our ABCs of learning. If we want to kind of transition this into part C, we can do this going towards the end wall, win a battle, and then we can evolve this into making an outlet pass right away, or we can introduce a second forechecker to pressure him too. So a good drill to work on. I like working on a lot of these kind of confined area, physical battle type plays with our guys at NTR, because they are very valuable skills that don't see all the time, but definitely show up quite often in games. This is the little guys here, but I've definitely used this before. It's not exactly our position before possession, but it does highlight body positioning with puck possession here. So fine play. These 2 guys just pass back and forth. The coach hits him with a whistle, and then it just turns into a king of the ring or a one-on-one battle. So important, we want to make sure we're shoulder checking. We want to be able to read where we're being pressured. We want to be able to see and read to ice we're escaping to, be able to keep that puck between our feet. This player in red does a real good job of protecting this puck the whole time. And we're going to see with the white player what happens when we are more focused with our head down versus head up here as soon as they play this. So there he's working on his body position. He's looking down. He's not focused where the pressure is coming from, and then the red player is able to steal it from him. So good drill to use as a filler too if we're transitioning from skating to stations or stations to some larger drills, including more players, to keep the players active. So a couple more examples of that. This one is with Sergachev. Sergachev, I seem to come across him doing this pretty frequently, and he's pretty good at it for a young defenseman. So puck gets kicked in. So, sorry. Puck gets kicked in. We'll see if we can stop it. So right here, again, we're in a 50-50 race right now. Now instead of Sergachev just skating directly to the puck, we see Sergachev protect the puck area by gaining inside position on whoever that Toronto forward is. So we find our arrow again here. So we end up play, gains inside position, it's got the puck, and now Tampa Bay is breaking out. So a lot of this stuff we'll see in our next section here too. I'll bring it up again, but we'll see a lot of this. We're really eliminating serious contact, and we're eliminating a lot of chances off of dump-ins, and we're kind of gaining control quicker of the puck. This is a real good example of protecting the area. Sorry. So Sergachev again. Let's see if we can stop it right there. So we got Sergachev, and then we've got Nashville's F2 coming in to retrieve the puck. And we're going to see how Sergachev gives him a good bump. So there's the bump, creates some space, and now he skates to separate. He had less speed than the Nashville player did. And we've seen how that bump, he did a good job, controlled the area. Now he's able to skate and escape. So moving on to kind of the next portion of controlling the puck area. So I would consider this one controlling the area, just because we're not quite as physical as we're approaching it now. Some key, we want to make sure we've got a good angle to the puck. We want to identify pressure. We want to protect the line to the puck, and we want to engage with F1. So this one's pretty challenging to teach, and it's tricky to come up with different ways to introduce this skill. We'll play and stop this one. So what can happen is, if we try to slow down F1 and there's too much of a gap between us, that forward is just going to step around us and steal our puck. So we've got to adjust our speed. We've got to control skate and be able to welcome that speed, make contact, and then begin to shave a little bit of ice so that we can slow down F1's momentum and then make a play on the puck. So play this one out. So Char is a big man, but Hyman's moving in there at basically full speed, and they don't even get to the board. So we can see how controlling that area really affects F1's ability to get to the puck. We'll go one more time. So gets in front of him, little ice shave, controls the area, and Char's got the puck. Neither one of them really hit the boards too with all that speed that Hyman was coming in with. Similar, not quite as physical on this one, but Buffalo's defender protects his line to the puck, little bump, and then he's able to turn it north down the ice. Same thing, play again. Buffalo's defender, he engages with him. All right, control skating, so he's not going full speed and creating a gap. He's welcoming that gap. He's engaging with them with a little bit of contact and slowing him down. One more here, and then I believe we've got another drill example. So here's, if we watch McDonough on Tampa, he ends up slowing down, gives him a little bump, and then, see if I can time this correctly. He slows down, he gives him a little bump, and then he ends up goes from shaving some ice and transitions on his edges to using some more speed, and then he's able to control this puck. Now a little play, he makes a real nice pass on his backhand here. We'll get into backhands in a little bit, but there's a little bump backhand, and they're out of the zone. So challenging skill to work on. It's challenging to come up with different ways to teach it. So this would be probably part B for me, but if we were using it, introducing it with guys, I would just probably use the length of the ice, partners going down and player one going down the ice, feel that pressure from player two and do a little ice shaving and slow up player two behind us. Now, if we're using the full ice, we've got 185 feet to work with, so spending a couple minutes on that, we can get a a lot of reps, and so transitioning into part B here, we're going to have a fairly good understanding of what we're trying to accomplish when we go after this puck in our D zone corner. So we'll let this one play. The player in black is our D-man. All he does is slow up, braces for contact, protects the area. Now he's got the puck. This will play again. It's just the same clip, but again, he's little ice shaving, braces for contact, protects the area, and then takes his puck. Now this is the only one I've got of controlling the area, but we can definitely evolve this into C by adding an outlet pass or adding secondary pressure from coming from some direction. We'll bring up pressure a little more when we get into shooting here too, but it'll adding different points of pressure really and making it as game applicable as possible really changes the feel of a drill. It goes from a high completion rate to it makes it challenging to complete the drill. Now we don't want to get into drills that are overly challenging where we're never going to be able to complete them, and we don't want them so easy. We want to kind of find that comfort zone where we are where we're completing it, where we're failing, we're completing it, where we're failing. If we can find that little sweet spot, excuse me, that's kind of where we're going to be able to learn the most. Again, we've got another one of McAvoy and Matt Martin. So Martin almost doesn't break stride all the way down the ice. There he is. He controls the area, shaves a little ice, and they barely hit the boards. And Boston's in a 3-on-2 situation behind the net. So we'll get into a little defenseman shooting now. So if we're talking about generating some offense and being deceptive in the offensive zone, so we're going to use some pump fakes, slap shots, fake slap shots, angle changes, walking or activating down the boards in the offensive zone. So right away, Cale Makar, everybody's got clips on this guy being deceptive at the blue line, using different fakes, shot deception, pass deception, but we'll watch him here. Really activate, pulls out, quick pump fake, pause, control, skate, re-accelerates. He ends up scoring here, but I'll play this one again. So he collects it with his backhand. He's in motion when he collects it. And then there's a little pause, a little fake, and then he continues to move now. One thing that allows D-man in the NHL right now a little more, not leeway, but gives them a little more option. Most teams will play, as soon as that puck goes to the D-man, they'll just play man-on-man situations. So if you got guys like Makar or Barry on Toronto or Quinn Hughes or any D-man, Sam Girard that's real mobile, if they're able to be deceptive and beat that forechecker or that F2 or 3 coming at them, you're going to be able to create an odd man situation somewhere else on the ice if you can win that one-on-one battle. This is a trend I see sometimes depending on how teams want to defend. But then we're going to key in on Travis Dermott's shot here. So we'll play again and we'll stop it. So right away, I see this once in a while depending on who the team is that's defending. If their weak side forward is playing hash marks, then this is available. But if this weak side forward is a little bit higher in the zone, this play isn't available. So it's more of a pre-scout thing, and depending on who you're playing, you can this will either work or this might not be an option. But what we really want to focus on is McDermott's shot. So we can see if we can stop it. So here's his first wind-up. We can see our Red Wings defender. He's already going down to block it. So McDermott's got his eyes up. Here's fake one. All right, pump fake, and then he's able to force that Red Wing defender to readjust. Now, Dermot's got his eyes up, so he's faked. He's seen him go down. Now he's able to adjust where he's trying to place this puck. He ends up scoring a goal out of it, too. Last one, and then I believe we'll get into a couple teaching clips. So here's Schmidt. Again, I believe that's Huberdeau coming off the wall now. He does a good job. He gets into the shooting lane, and then he begins to flex out at him. But we see this little body fake that our D-man hits him with here, forces him to adjust his lane to the puck, and that's going to allow Schmidt in the shooting lane. There's this little adjust. Now he's able to get this puck to net, and again, he scores. So important thing, all of our clips also when we're talking about D-man shooting or being deceptive, every single one of them are we're moving across the blue right now, so we're in motion. So this might be kind of B on our steps to teaching, but even with the major junior guys, I'll use the length of the ice to use to if we're introducing something new. So if we're talking about eyes up and pump fakes and weight transfer prior to releasing a puck, we'll do it lengthwise. NTR is a little bit smaller than regular sized ice, but we can still get a whole lot of reps in, quality reps in a short amount of time too. So I find removing a shot, especially when we're trying to introduce something new, it forces the players, regardless of the age, to really focus on what we are keying in on to teach them. If we've got a shot at it, or if we've got a goalie in the net, I find kids and even older players too, it becomes more about surviving through the fake, and their goal is to make sure they get a shot off. So if you can remove some of that stimulus, then we end up with some quality reps. So if we're into B, we take a little bit of ice, we accept our pass, there's our pump, and there's our release. So we've got eyes up, and same thing. So this is just a simple way to introduce walking the blue line, a little bit of pump fake, not a ton of stick handling going on. We've kind of got that puck. It's closer to us. We don't have our arms and hands extended out, reaching, grabbing at it. It's close to us. It's in a shooting or passing position the whole time. One more time, and then we'll show it again. So accept, quick cross, there's our base, pump, and release. So next clip, all we're doing is kind of highlighting that pump fake here and the eyes up. So let it play. Walk our blue line, eyes are up, there's our fake, there's our release. We'll go one more time, and then I'll bring up that kind of right leg shot here in a second. I've seen it a little bit. We pull, there's our pump, and there's our release. So if I can time our pause button right here, we'll see if we can get it. So when we release our puck here, so there's a clip coming up of Provorov on Philadelphia. He uses it similar. So if we're talking about pump fakes, we get somebody to bite on it. They're either going to go down or block it, but they're going to have time before we're able to release that puck to begin to adjust to it, similar to that clip we just watched of Dermott. So I've seen Klingberg do this as well too. So by opening up our hips and toes towards the net, it allows us a little more ice to pull and change the angle from the shot at a blue line without skating in towards the net. So if we watch it one more time, you can see I'm basically on the blue line the whole time, where I can open up, get my hips open, and then use a little bit of rotation and change the angle if we need it to. Now, challenging to shoot like that. Now we're going to have to make sure if we're going to introduce it, we want to make sure we let the players know we've got. You're going to have to make sure you got time. Next here, this is just an activation down the wall, I believe. So we collect our puck, go to cross middle, lane's not there, we activate down the wall. So a bit more of a tactic, and if we're going to end up with this play in the game. This is a shot. If we're putting this on net, it's I call it a we shot. It's a team shot. We're not shooting to score from outside the dots. If we miss the net with this one, teams are so quick to transition. They'll take that puck and transition down the ice into our zone pretty quickly. So we want to either hit the net, we want to hit some sticks, shin pads, kind of. It's a team shot that we're hoping to create some traffic with. Next here is backhands. Now I believe this is the one. Yeah, so we're going to pick this up with one hand on the backhand and release it now. Challenging to do, and this is probably, again, this is part B to this skill. We definitely would want to work on this if we want to play two-touch forehand backhand game, or teach it backhand to forehand quickly with two hands. We can also do it with one hand, but being able to control our puck on our backhand with one or two hands is definitely necessary, especially if you're a D-man on the playing on the offside. We tend to get forwards just throwing pucks at us, thinking that we're a righty, and then we've got a handle on the back. And another challenging skill to this is, one, doing it in motion, two, being able to pop that puck laterally across our line. And you can also see when I'm skating backwards there, crossing over, I'm extending the zone, so I'm outside of the blue line. That puck is just bumped it laterally across the ice. And now if we want to transition this into part C of learning, now my coach there that's passing it to me can also and challenge me. And that'll make this whole thing a little bit quicker now by going across our blue line there. If our players have a pretty good handle at it, it's just going to get a little monotonous and repetitive. Now, by adding some pressure into it, it'll make it a whole lot more challenging and put a lot more stress on, again, edging closer to a game application as best we can. Last one is just similar to the Nate Schmidt. Now just pick it up, two hands on the backhand, hold across the zone, quick little body fake and release. Now again, this is part C, or sorry, part B, but if we can add pressure into this, it's amazing how much difficult a drill gets, that if your players have a pretty good handle at it, how adding pressure and or changing the scenario a little bit, how difficult it does make it. So adding a player flexing out at me here would definitely make the fake challenging. It challenges my timing of the body fake, and being able to find the lane and release the puck too gets very difficult here too. So next, different ways we can teach it. Now, if we're starting to talk about, we've seen it early on, we'll let this clip go. So all we're doing is retrieval, but now since we've worked on our puck retrievals and various options when retrieving it, now we can introduce a point shot here. So our players have had a pretty good, they got a good grasp on retrieving the puck. Now we're going to walk the blue line and add in our pump fake or a fake shot or whatever it is that we've highlighted in, that we've seen in the game that we want to work on. So these guys are doing a pretty good job at their little toe turn retrieval, and it looks like they're working on a little mohawk point shot. So here's his toe turn, retrieval, makes a good outlet pass at the net, and now here's his walk. So he wants to do the little mohawk and then on. So again, we can add in, this is a good example of a B drill, including multiple things that we've already talked about, but adding pressure to this too would take it one step closer. So this is a drill we've already seen before also. It's our evade and escape. So here's our evade, here's our escape, here's our outlet. All right, but now we've got 2 point shots added into this as well too. So I believe I mentioned earlier on in our presentation here that if we're focusing on the evasions, let's make sure we're just focusing on and teaching the evasions. Now we want to progress it and add in point shots here. Now we know the kids have a good grasp on our evasions, and they're working on the shoulder checks, and they've got all that down. So now we can key in on various point shots or deception that we want to use. So one more, I believe this is of McCullough again. So this is on the power play. So first off, this is passing deception here. So he's on the power play, and he's walking the blue line. So we're going to watch this little pump fake he uses now. Again, this is if you're minor midget guys at a tournament and you're watching, or if we're skills coaches and we know we're involved with the team and we're involved with pre-scouts and stuff like that. That if we know what penalty kill Calgary or whatever team we're playing against in major junior or minor midget, we know what they like to use, or junior A, we can kind of key in against it. So it kind of looks like Calgary wants to flush the puck down the boards, but McCullough's fake here forces their killer F1 to kind of hesitate. He's going to buy a bunch of time for McKinnon on the flank here. So this little pump fake forces him to start. Now he just bought McKinnon maybe an extra second or two of time, but Nathan McKinnon with an extra second or two of time is pretty dangerous. So same thing. Here's our little pump. Forces F1 to bite on the penalty kill, and now we just bought McKinnon some time. So challenging. This is our shot that I was talking about a couple clips ago. So Provorov grabs his puck, and now he pulls it into his base and releases it. So he's got that player down, but Barkov gets his leg out, so he pumps and gets his leg out, but because Provorov is shooting off his right foot, he's able to pull that puck and change the angle. He's got lots of ice. He can pull that puck into and around Barkov's leg. So a little bit different, something I just kind of noticed recently. So tactics, and how we doing for time, Alex? We got lots of time?
Yeah, it's going well, and I'm sure people love it, so you can continue, no problem.
So this is my last section here. We want to open up to a couple questions after this, but defensing text. Now, the idea of this is not really new, but kind of where I'm seeing it on the ice is new. I just watched Chicago Blackhawks in 2010 in the finals. Now everybody's seen Duncan Keith defending and angling, skating forwards. He kind of does it neutral zone, or as he's defending a team coming out of his offensive zone. So it's not a new idea, but where I'm seeing mostly just some players on Boston do it, and I'm trying to convince somebody within there is teaching. I haven't seen it a whole lot from really any other team or player consistently right now. So what Boston's D-man, Carlo, I believe my clips are of Carlo, McAvoy, maybe Grislick, and Clifton. They actually pivot forwards and defend similarly like you would backwards. I haven't made up my mind on it quite yet, but it's just something interesting I've seen. So one thing I think it allows you to close quicker. I'm trying to come up with what the pros and cons are of it. So if anybody wants to input anything, but I think you can close quicker. I think you can adjust your speed a whole lot quicker. You've got stick on puck, but unlike defending, if you're defending skating backwards, you're kind of solely stick on puck. This way, you're stick on puck. You've also got your skates too, in the way where prior to, if you're doing it backwards, you're kind of only got your stick in a lane to here where you can use your feet and get your body in a lane too. So I got a couple clips of it. See if we can stop it here. So this is McAvoy. So we're going to watch McAvoy. He's forward. He's T-pushing to pinch off Ben there, and they get a shot just from the wall. Same thing. So McAvoy pivots forward. He's T-pushing. He's got to stick behind him until he closes on him. And I'll go one more time here. See if I can stop it. So he's got to stick behind him, kind of preventing anything going back up to the blue line if there's a player 4 coming across the blue line, a D-man. But as soon as he begins to close, that's when he transitions to stick on puck here. And then he's able to get a stick in and get a shot off, but it's from outside the dots. Next here is of Carlo, very similar. He transitions forwards. He's T-pushing. He's got a stick on puck again. He takes it forwards instead of backwards. Another one, McAvoy. He's defending, transitions to forwards, and he ends up stick on puck, stick lifts, and steals with one hand in this situation. This one's pretty interesting too. I know anytime a couple skills guys get together, there's always seems to be some conversation about pivoting forwards and crossing over, or defending and staircasing, or kind of lateral steps side by side backwards. In this situation, I believe it's McAvoy uses both almost back to back. He staircases away and then he crossovers to pivot forwards. I'll watch it a couple times. So here's the staircase, crossover forwards, and he's got stick on puck right away. They cut it off here, but he ends up finishing D'Angelo in the corner here, so he's not able to get to the net. Show it a couple more times. I got one more after this. Same one. Accepts. Here's a staircase. Here's a crossover, stick on puck, and then he keeps him outside. So last one here is a good example. Again, similar to the last one. McAvoy's defending, crossover, stick on puck, and finishes him. He's not able to get to the net. I'll turn the volume off here, sorry. One more. Cross, control, skates. He doesn't take many strides there either. So to me, I think players, they're far, if I'm McAvoy or if I'm trying to defend like this or teach it, it's just something I came across with all this downtime that we're able to watch a little more hockey. But I thought it was interesting. It seems like I've only really seen Boston do it, and they're pretty successful at it, defending one-on-one situation like this. So I guess, Alex, if anybody's got questions regarding that or any other topic or previously submitted ones, we can get into those. But that's the presentation. So thanks for listening. And if we want to get into a couple questions now, you can go ahead.
Great job, Zach. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We had some questions at the beginning that I've sent to you. I know you have answer some, but I'll just put my camera. First question was about important skill for junior player to develop to transition to pro. Do you have something in mind, or?
We just watched like all those, everything we just watched was, stuff that makes professional hockey players successful in different areas of the ice. So if we're talking about retrievals and D-man in junior, watch the next level to see what defensemen are doing and doing well and successfully. So I've heard Misha Donskov talk about it, and Corey McNabb, if you're a player, like, place yourself in buckets of other players. So if the style of play you play in junior kind of resembles a couple guys in the NHL. Well, watch those guys and see what they're doing that makes them successful. So if we're talking about retrievals and you're a player that resembles Carlo or Vince Dunn or a player like that, that's kind of like your bucket of players you're in. What are you doing that you're struggling at retrieving a puck that Vince Dunn or Grizzlick or Carlo or Travis Dermott or whatever bucket of players you fall into? What are they doing and why are they successful at it? And kind of work backwards on what you can do, like the ABCs of everything too. So that would be one for me. If kind of sort out, ask your coach or whoever, your skills guy, who you resemble, and then begin to sort out why are they successful versus what I'm doing. What can I do? What do I need to add? What can I adjust? What am I doing well that resembles their game too, right? So I think stuff like that, if you're watching the next level, is a great way to kind of sort out what you need to continue to add to your game.
Great, thanks. You can just stop sharing your screen so we will see you and not me on the screen. And next question was, how did you teach 2-on-1 defensively? It's a great question.
2-on-1 kind of depends, like your puck here. Can you see me here or is it still you?
I am still me on the presentation. Just click on the screen and stop presenting. Yeah, great. Perfect. Thanks.
Yeah. So it kind of depends on handedness the puck carrier is. So if the puck carrier is got an outside stick, well, maybe you're shading towards the partner, taking away a pass because the shooting options are a little bit different. You're going to have to, again, challenge the puck carrier at some point closer to the net, but if you're playing a 2-on-1 and that the puck carrier's got an inside stick, he's more dangerous to make plays. So you're going to want to shade towards him a little bit more to take away a pass, because as soon as that player with an inside stick gets to the net, his ability to cut across the net too. So we don't want to give him too much respect in the ice, taking away his partner where if he gets to the net and now he's able to cut to the far post. So it depends on if that puck carrier's got an inside stick or if he's got an outside stick. You're going to shave or shade kind of closer or further, depending on which hand he is.
Great, thanks. If there's someone asks you, do you use electronic drill diagrammer, so coach them, flex coach, drill draw? Was a question.
Sorry, what was that?
Are you using flex coach or drill draw or these things like that to draw your drill?
I use hockey share. I've got a Mac, so I can't use drill draw. I'm kind of particular with some of that stuff too, so I'm not a fan of some of them. I kind of hockey share seems to work well with me right now, and we're able to get some drills together quickly, or stations, but yeah, if I'm using any of them, it's probably hockey share. For anything I'm doing just myself though on the ice, I'm just going to draw it up myself. If it's with the AAA organization here, that's where we'll get into hockey share, and if we're going to share it with them via email or make a couple copies, whatever, stuff like that. But yeah, hockey share is the one for me.
All right. Greg asked you a great question. He said, a lot of talk about implementing skill in the right area of the ice when doing station-based practice or split ice. Does it make sense to focus on skill like this in area of the ice they don't usually happen in, and talking through application with player?
Yeah, like you want to definitely, you're not always going to be able to work on a specific skill where it happens in the ice. A good example is all the younger kids being half ice or quarter ice or however the ice slipped. You know, some people if run a private session one end, goalie session the other, right? So it's not always easy, but there's definitely a ton of value in being able to just practice that specific skill, but you definitely want to make sure it gets implemented in the appropriate area of ice afterwards too. Like our little, we saw our triangle drill, or we saw Riley with the escapes going across the ice. Now that's not an appropriate area of the ice, but he is working on his escapes, and he's building a bit of muscle memory and understanding on what he was trying to do or whatever he was teaching there, right? So transitioning that into an appropriate area of the ice, absolutely, but there's definitely a lot of value in using whatever ice is available to you to teach that skill.
Excellent, thanks. Any other question, guys? Mickey, a question? No question. So thank you very much. The presentation will be sent, like Zach give us permission to send to everyone. So I'll send a link if you want to re-see it again. I'll send you an email, everyone. We have 2 other presentations this week. I have one in French and one in English with the goalie. Try to understand more goalie, because it's really important for a skilled coach to able to teach their forward or D-man how to score against goalies. So it's kind of a mix to be sure that everyone can understand well the game about the goalie. So thank you, Zach. Really appreciate it. It's always great hearing you, man. And I hope we'll work together soon.
Absolutely. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Bye. I'm calling you, Zach, all right? I will call you.
Sure.